Let's get to the investigation from the FBI recap. Our detective found an interesting case. A young girl, Jenna, and her mother are discussing some situation that recently happened. It turns out that Jenna has stopped taking the pills prescribed by the doctor. While having dinner with her parents, she is very annoyed by the way they chew and slurp. Later, the girl overhears that they want to send her to some farm. When her parents fall asleep, Jenna sneaks into their room and steals money. She plans to take a bus to Los Angeles. On the bus, she is once again annoyed by the sounds around her. She saves herself from them by wearing headphones. After making a stop in some town, Jenna finds a home hotel for the night in an internet cafe. The chosen hotel is run by a good-natured elderly couple, Ellie and Sam. It's also where she meets another guest, Gavin. In her room, she sees a cockroach climbing out of the wall. During the conversation over tea, it turns out that Ellie has been a nurse all her life, and Sam is a handyman and has somehow improved the house. Another cockroach crawls out of the floor. When talking to Gavin, the girl tells him about her neurological disorder, misophonia, an intolerance to almost any sound. That's why she wears headphones everywhere she goes. Gavin offers the girl a coffee together, and they exchange contacts. At night, Jenna has a nightmare. First, she sees Gavin getting a bag thrown over his head. Then she sees an elderly couple taking her measurements for some reason, and she ends up spewing a whole bunch of cockroaches. The next day, Jenna goes to meet Gavin at a coffee shop. He doesn't show up, but some guy shows up, which scares her, and she runs out of the cafe through the back door. The grandmother, noticing Jenna's anxiety, offers her to unwind by working in the garden. She also points out that being a plant is much better than being a person, and tells her about her twin children, one of whom died at birth. In response to such revelations, Jenna reveals that her mother previously sent her to a farm, which turns out to be a mental institution. She also complains about a stalker who is always around. Jenna decides to stay with the old people for a couple more days. At night, she hears some rustling, pulls back the wallpaper, and sees someone's fingers. Frightened, she explores the wall and finds a secret door. Inside, the girl discovers someone's emaciated but still alive body. Jen texts Gavin to call the cops. Only it's old Ellie who's been texting her all the time. The living mummy reaches out to Jenna and knocks out the landlady, who enters the room. Sam comes up behind his wife, and the frightened girl looks for a way to escape. So she gets into another room, where there are a dozen of the same horrible mummies. The old men grab Jenna and put her to sleep with an injection. The heroine comes to herself already at the table. Joyful Ellie tells that the girl will no longer be disturbed by fear and anxiety. The old woman takes care of each guest of the house with her special soothing substances, and she fertilizes them through a drip. She also sews up the guests' eyes and ears. This is something she started doing while she was still in the hospital. She started to inhabit the house after her daughter with her husband, and grandchildren were about to leave after the holiday, and she didn't want to let them go. Her son-in-law resisted the procedure of transformation into a plant and had to be killed, while her daughter and grandchildren remained to exist under the floorboard. Their human garden stretched all over the house, and sometimes new seedlings appeared. Gavin, by the way, has already put down roots under the porch. The only trouble is the cockroaches that eat people. The girl's exorcism is interrupted by a phone call. It's the guy from the cafe looking for Jenna. It turns out that this is the father of her ex-boyfriend, but his heart-to-heart talk with Ellie is broken by Sam and kills the man. Meanwhile, a partially paralyzed Jenna tries to escape through a window. She succeeds, but her attempt to get away in a car fails. She is left to hide in the back seat while the old men load the man's corpse into the passenger compartment. Having reached the quarry, Sam throws the car off the cliff with Jenna and the corpse inside. The car is smashed to pieces, but Jenna was strong enough to survive such a fall. In the future, we learn that the girl encouraged her boyfriend to commit suicide, because of which she went crazy. Now she is tormented by conscience, and not finding peace in this world, she decided to return to a couple of maniacs and voluntarily agreed to replenish their home garden. Please share your impressions of the story in the comments below. Let's thank FBI Recap for the well-done work. New investigations ahead.